This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If your company's not showing up at the top of Google searches, maybe you need help with search engine optimization or a website built, pixelfiremarketing.com is here to help you. They'll put you at the top of Google searches, give you a website that converts to mobile, and make sure you embrace your clients online. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com today. Joining us inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio today is Maggie DeGunia with M Salon and your local real estate agent. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's start with the real estate business. It's something you've been doing for 3 years. Why was it the right time 3 years ago for you to jump into the real estate market?
Honestly, the reason why I started into the real estate market is because I'd been doing hair for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a passion of mine, but I kind of got to the point in my life where I realized I was never going to retire on hair.
Sure.
And so I decided to try to open up my, spectrum to see what I could do. I always had a passion for real estate. I've done multiple projects when it comes to like working on homes, construction. My dad was a contractor.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a lot of contractors in my life. So I would do projects like that. And real estate just always had me fascinated.
Did that make the transition easier for you with having an understanding of kind of how the nuts and bolts of real estate works? Now all you got to do is kind of sell it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a hard time selling anything I'm not passionate about.
Most people do.
So to me, I don't even feel like I'm selling it. I just have such a passion for it that it just comes naturally.
Because if you're educating somebody and they need it, they're going to buy it. You don't have to sell somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Especially in real estate. I mean, people are looking or they're not, right?
Correct. Yeah. You don't have to talk them into it. You just need to educate them so that they can make the best decision for themselves.
Why was hair your passion, and what made that your calling at a younger age?
When we didn't have a lot of money growing up.
Sure.
So I think that just styling my hair was a way to keep myself busy. This was before cell phones.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah,
and my mom.
You could have been TikTok famous.
No.
Yeah.
My mom kind of left me as a ragtag child. So my hair was
Sure.
always crazy. And so that was one of the things that I just did. My sisters used to make fun of me because I'd style my hair before bed.
Okay.
And they're like, "You're going to sleep. Why are you doing that?" I was like, "Well, I might meet the man of my dreams in there."
There you go.
Know.
Problem solved. When we talk about the real estate market in Omaha specifically, it's obviously a very flooded market. The housing market is starting to grow because there's new construction, but there's been a struggle with getting listings over the last couple of years, and there are a ton of real estate agents in the Omaha area. How have you kind of navigated those waters?
Honestly, it hasn't been an issue for me, mainly I think because I've been a business owner in the just community for so many years. I've
Sure.
had businesses for 16 years. So I have a lot of people that know me. I have a lot of people that trust me. So then when I went into the real estate market, they just kind of transferred their trust over to that. And I was really able to build a solid base right away, which is fortunate for me, but that's not the norm when it comes to it, because
Sure. No, it's not
you're
at all.
right. It is
Yeah.
an oversaturated market. So
When you make that jump and you do have the connections, and Omaha's kind of built that way, right? It
Mhm.
is if you can establish trust in a market, people will follow you. What were some of the hurdles when you first made the jump into real estate, and kind of how did you deal with that?
honestly, they do not teach you anything about real estate when you first get your license.
Sure.
So you go to school and they don't teach you anything relevant that you actually need to be able to help your clients. So one of the biggest things that helped me, this is going to sound bad, but I met my partner in real estate.
Okay.
And so he was the one that really guided me and taught me everything that I know now. And I was just able to expand on that.
Clearly working out for you guys, though.
It is. We just got engaged.
Congratulations.
So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. We talk a lot in this room to people that own businesses, and it's if they're specifically if they're married or engaged, the partner's either 100% in or they're 0% in. There doesn't seem to be any in between. I'm assuming if your fiance is in the industry, it's kind of hard to keep him out of the business while you're operating it, right?
No, and honestly, it's been great. We just joined teams probably a couple months ago. So we just completed our first Airbnb flip.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
he was a former master contractor. So like his level of talent is unbeatable when it comes
Sure.
to that. So
And
he
his
did
name
all the
is?
work. Jay Bickford.
Shout out to Jay. We just want to make sure we give him some love. Yeah. When we talk the the teams aspect of real estate has always been really interesting to me, because it kind of reminds me of the franchise model a little bit, where you have a backbone and somebody that you can go to and answer questions, have an established relationship. What was it about joining a team that was interesting for you or made it an intriguing process?
Honestly, the fact that he and I were at separate brokerages and we just wanted to come together. So we both left our separate brokerages and began this team. And we have 2 people currently that are on our team that we're starting training with and that we'll be raising up. And hopefully all of his knowledge we can now transfer on to our new team members and make them just as successful as he's helped make me.
You were with a team previously though. How did that help you in the industry? Just having people that you can bounce things off of. I'm sure there was leads passed around, things like that.
Collaboration is always important. Being able to be in a room where there are people that are better than you is always going to be room for growth. If you're just out there on an island by yourself, you really can't grow. So I always like to surround myself with people who are more knowledgeable than I am and who are more successful than I am, so that way I only have one way to go, right?
What's something you didn't know about real estate when you got into it that you know today?
First of all, I didn't realize how hard it was.
Yeah.
They talk about real estate agents making so much money, but you are people's therapists. Like I get calls at all certain times of the day. There are just some weird things that you would never think that you would have to negotiate, right? And,
can you give me an example?
I was trying to get a tractor back that was a lawn ornament for my last client.
Okay. Sure.
I also negotiated fish into a contract.
You always forget what you leave at your house when you move out, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
when we're talking about doing business in different parts of Omaha, there's obviously a uniqueness to South Omaha and Elkhorn and Gretna and North Omaha, etc. How do you kind of navigate the boroughs of doing business in Omaha, and what makes that unique to the real estate market of Omaha in your experience?
I don't think I fully understand the question.
Yeah, so like, do you find it, and maybe my question's incorrect, like, is there any difference between doing business, selling a house in South Omaha versus Elkhorn? And do you feel like that makes Omaha unique?
I really feel like it's just knowing your market in general and strategy. We might go into a different strategy selling in Elkhorn, which has higher priced houses, as opposed to going in South Omaha. And so I think that really that's just the vast difference, is knowing like which places that you're going to go, the types of loans that are going to be accepted, using those in your favor as negotiation, because some people have more out of pocket money, whereas then other people don't. They might be more FHA buyers in certain areas, right? So you just have to know the areas, know what you're working with, and then use that to your advantage.
In Iowa, it's kind of universal codes. You don't really have to worry about anything. It's all kind of the same, whether you're buying in Des Moines and Council Bluffs and Omaha. Codes are different for plumbing in Bellevue than they are in Omaha and Gretna and etc. Does that roll over into selling houses, and do you have to be like knowledgeable about that type of stuff, about what is and what isn't legal from a code sense when you're selling
Yes and no. A lot of real estate agents don't know the difference, honestly. However, just because I have my partner who's a contracting background and I've done a lot with like house flips, I do happen to know probably a little bit more. Omaha is really coming down as far as code enforcement, so like pulling those permits is super huge. You need to make sure, because we are finding out now that it's going to burn people on the back end if they didn't pull the permits.
For sure.
And when they go to sell the house, then they have to like prove all of this stuff, which they never did before. And so it's definitely, it's important to know, and it makes you a better professional if you do, but not everybody does.
We're catching up with Maggie DeGunia here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. I want to talk about the salon for a minute. How difficult is it for you to have a business that sometimes you have to be pulled away from to do real estate type things? And how do you manage being a salon owner, being a real estate agent, and handling the differences?
Honestly, I personally feel like it's just make an appointment with Maggie. Whether you make an appointment to go see a house, you make an appointment for hair, like you just make an appointment. It's all through my cell phone. I'm fully accessible. As far as like why the business has been able for the salon to run, especially in my absence, I have an amazing group of girls that work for me at M Salon. So they are able to, come in where I lack, essentially.
Is it just hair at M Salon? Do you guys offer maybe eyebrow waxing or nails, anything like that?
We do facial waxing, and then I have one of my co-owner, Sydney. She does eyelash extensions.
Shout out to Sydney.
Sydney.
When we talk about trying to keep your finger on the pulse of, because listen, fashion and hair is always changing, right? There's always things that are going. You're a busy person. You're a real estate professional. You're a business owner. You're getting married. There's a lot going on. How do you kind of keep up with what do you do to maybe A, educate yourself, but B, also keep up with trends in the fashion world?
Honestly, it's my clients that keep me up with trends in the
Sure.
fashion world. They're
They
the
come and tell
ones.
you, I want to look like fill in the
Yes,
blank, right?
and I have 2 teenage
Mhm.
girls. So
Sure.
my teenage girls are telling me all the time what is
Yeah.
cool and what is not cool.
Sure.
Even if I disagree with them, they try to set me on the right path.
I made the joke about TikTok a minute ago, but obviously, social media has exploded. TikTok is taking on a world of its own. Do things like that help your business, in your opinion?
I absolutely think that they do, especially as the generations are moving along and TikTok is more prevalent and the younger generations are coming up because everybody looks on social media. If you cannot be Googled, if you cannot be found online,
Everybody from your high school thinks you're dead.
yeah, absolutely. So you have to have
Mhm.
some form of a presence online. I honestly I love it, but I hate it
Yeah,
because I wish I didn't have to have media. I wish I could just be kind of off
but
the
it's such a
grid.
benefit.
It
Yeah.
is a benefit, and like all of our businesses are front facing, client customer. Like
Mhm.
people need to know who you are.
You've owned a couple businesses in the past as well, and obviously you've made the transition from just being a hair salon owner to a real estate agent. What has been the same about being a business owner over the past 15 years versus what's new, and how do you keep up to date with that?
Prices are way different now.
That's very true. That's a
It
great
used to
point.
be a lot easier to run a business before COVID.
Mhm.
And so I really applaud any small business owner right now that is grinding away and that kept their business afloat during
Or
that
just
time.
started.
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
started. I do believe, like, I have a lot of respect for anyone who tries to run their own business. I love the freedom, the flexibility of the time,
Yeah.
but it is different. It's just a struggle more.
Um, when you go from owning a salon to becoming a real estate agent, but keep like a lot of people will sell that business or move on. Was that ever a thought process for you to leave hair altogether and just focus on real estate, or is it such a passion for you? It's something you always want to do.
Honestly, I think it's such a passion for me that I'll always be involved
Sure,
in some way, shape, or form. And I have clients threatening my life if I leave.
because you've been doing their hair
Yeah.
for so long. Sure. But you mentioned you have a staff there that you've brought on. You have a couple of employees. How difficult was that for you to hire? Your name's on the front of the building. You said it's appointment by Maggie. How difficult is it for you to bring somebody in, hand them a chair, let them pay you rent, but also represent your brand?
I don't think it's been hard at all, mainly because before I decided to take this leap and do this career shift, I had known and trusted the girls, and they had known and trusted me. We'd been
Sure.
through really hard times. We went through COVID together when everything was shut
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
Someone stole our money, and we had to like handwork to build our salon ourselves.
Oh no.
So, like, all these girls that I have are absolutely phenomenal.
It- when you're bringing somebody in new, though,
Hmm.
is that a struggle for you?
Always.
Yeah. Why?
100%. Just because they are not accustomed to the environment,
Sure.
or it's, and it's 8 girls who have a very solid, connection, and then they're kind of the outsider. So bringing in anybody that's new just
There's an
into that.
established culture already.
There is
too,
an
right?
established culture.
Yeah.
So getting them to feel like they fit in and they're not an outsider.
What's the most difficult part about managing people?
Oh, just the fact that people are their own personality and their
Sure.
own vibes, and they have their own opinions, and 2 different situations can happen, and one person looks at it one way and the other person looks at it the other, and then there's conflict.
If somebody is looking to set up a hair or an eyelash appointment, how can they get a hold of M Salon, book an appointment?
They can book online. We have a website, msalon.org.
Okay.
So they could definitely, I think it's actually msalondesign.org. I don't even
Okay.
know my own website.
Well,
How bad is that?
We'll post it in the social post. No, that's okay. What's the process look like if they go to the website and they're looking to book? How long does that take, and what does it look like when they walk in the door?
The first page of the website will be like book online. You just click it and then you make your appointment. It gets accepted by one of our stylists, sends them a text message, and they walk in the front door. We are a little untraditional where all my girls are self-employed. So when you walk in the front door, most people just kind of give us a wave and we'll be like, we'll be with you in a minute. So we don't have an actual front desk person,
Sure.
which is a little bit different than some of the salons in the area.
Yeah.
And
I clearly don't spend a lot of time in salons, so I can't really relate. We just had Hammer and Nails in their new men's grooming salon that are
Okay.
going to focus on pedicures, manicures, as well as beard and haircuts. Do you guys work with males at all, or is it strictly female clientele at M Salon?
Oh no, we absolutely work with males. We have
Okay.
a couple girls that specialize in it. Sydney, my
Sure.
co-owner, she's phenomenal when it comes to
Okay.
male cuts.
Is that a difficult for you guys to kind of market to let people know that it's both, or has that always just been kind of pretty easy?
You know what's funny is we just naturally attract the women, and they usually make their partners come. So we've never had a lack of male clients, but I think to get new male clients, if we were to try, absolutely, it would be a little bit more difficult because it's intimidating to come into a salon environment with all these women.
What does growth for M Salon look like over the next 2 to 3 years, in your opinion?
We just purchased the building that we're in. So we actually just went, thank you. We actually just went through a huge remodel. And so truly growing is just filling the couple chairs that we have left. So we have a really good environment now, but we would like to fill.
So if you're looking for a job.
Yeah. So just filling those 2 chairs. I work part-time now, so filling my chair half time. But truly, we're almost at the max capacity of our growth.
Wow, that's incredible. As far as a real estate agent, where would you like to see your portfolio or your career grow to over the next 2 to 3 years?
Something my partner and I are trying to do is we really want to grow our team and help new agents be successful. And then he and I are also trying to do more flips, more Airbnbs, more long-term rentals and holds. And so that's kind of along with selling houses, obviously.
Yeah, so when you're doing flips, you're flipping them and keeping them, not flipping them and selling them, essentially. We've seen Airbnb kind of take off and explode. And we always hear there's nothing to do in Omaha. It's not a big city, right? But is it surprising to you how much Airbnb has kind of worked here despite the nothing to do here model?
No, absolutely. It is a little bit surprising, but I mean, everybody's traveling, right? So people come in from out of town. They don't have enough room for them to stay at their house. We also have like Berkshire weekend we just had. We have College World Series
coming up in a couple weeks.
So we're excited to get our Airbnb live for College World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys have a website for the Airbnbs yet? Obviously, Airbnb.com.
It'll just be on Airbnb, and then obviously, if anybody knows us, we'll direct them there.
What's the biggest struggle in managing an Airbnb?
As far as that goes, it's just, again, people that you don't know coming in and potentially ruining your stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And we're catching up with Maggie DeGunia here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. Is there anything you haven't done from a professional standpoint in your career that you'd like to do? I mean, you've made a couple of jumps from managing a gun range to owning a salon to being a real estate agent. Is there anything else that you haven't really done in your career that you'd like to try?
As far as that, I want to expand to other states. So I would really like to own properties in other states so that not only can we generate income, but we can go visit those states and have a place to stay.
For free.
Yeah, exactly.
and make money off of it. Sure. What about the Airbnb model kind of attracted you guys? Was it just a matter of passive income that you don't necessarily always have to be in or worry about filling tenant spots? Was that the biggest reason?
Essentially it's a retirement plan, right?
Sure.
So every place that we get is going to look different depending on the numbers in the model. There's always formulas, there's always numbers that you have to account for. And so with the Airbnb, property specific is basically what we're looking for. Some that we might find out are better longer term holds, and where somebody comes in and rents fully for like a year or two, and then we'll just have to adjust to kind of figure out where those markets are.
Your mom, you're a business owner, you're a fiance, you're a real estate agent, you do hair. How do you manage and balance all of that?
That's a great question. I tried to take some time for myself.
Sure.
I like to go to the gym. I like to eat well, but really, I don't know if I manage.
Sure. Yeah. That's usually the main. I mean, we've had, I think this is episode 327. We've had 2 people be like, "This is what I do." The other people like, I just figured it out as I go.
I just go with the flow.
If somebody is looking to list their house or they would like to find an agent to sell, how can people get a hold of you for the real estate agent portion of your business?
My cell phone is always the best. That's the most responsive.
Sure.
So.
Do you feel like giving that number out? Or?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hey, call me 402-547-8992.
We've talked about a lot today. We covered a lot of the aspects. You do a lot. Is there anything about Maggie DeGunia that we haven't mentioned that people should know about you?
Really, no. I mean, other than the fact that, like I said, I have family. I did adopt a couple kids.
Congratulations.
That's a
awesome.
thing too.
Yeah.
I have 2 beautiful stepchildren, so our family is large and
growing. Yeah.
Hopefully not anymore.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on all the success in Omaha. And if you are looking for a new real estate agent, maybe you need to get your hair or nails done, or eyelashes. I apologize. Or your guy looking for a new haircut place. Check out M Salon. Thank you for doing this with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. This is the Spotlight Omaha podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. We'll see you in the morning.